Hey everybody, Charlie Montoya, VP of Sales and Marketing here at Aver. Want to thank you all for joining us today. Want to wish everybody a happy Veterans Day. Want to thank all the veterans that are out there that might be watching today. My hope is maybe one day my son will actually log into one of these and watch me do a webinar. So Ty, if you're out there, thank you for serving our country. Give your dad a call. It'd be nice every now and then. But that's a whole nother note. With us today, I also have Wayne Driggers, our head of product here at Aver. How you doing today, Wayne?
Absolutely wonderful.
Good. So we're going to get started here. I just want to give it a minute or two just to let people start to pop in. We know how this can be at times. Sometimes it can take people a couple moments. So hopefully you're enjoying, what I will say is Groundhog Day again. This feels like my third Monday of this week for me. So I don't know how about you all feel, but it's been a really, really interesting week. So very exciting, but very interesting. We'll give it about one more minute as I see more people jumping in. One thing that I want to let everybody know is that we do try and keep this as interactive as possible. So please, if you jump on and you have questions, feel free to jump to the Q&A. Ask them. We will jump back and forth and make sure that we're asking all questions possible for you. Hey, I actually see a couple. So Wayne, Michelle says, hey Wayne, good to see you and Charlie. Good to see you too, Michelle. Well, virtually. Dave, Dave says, Wayne, miss you, brother. And Dave, good to see you too. I really appreciate it. I see, Wayne, you're getting all the puff today, man. I mean, you're just fun.
Nah, good to see everybody. Thank you for all for joining.
Thank you. So I'll tell you what, let's get started on this. So here's my whole goal for today. We're not going to do a lot of slides. This is really going to be Wayne and I discussing today. So you can see my ugly mug. I hate that picture. I can't stand that picture. Man, I got to get rid of that picture. But really what we wanted to have today was just what we'll call a fireside chat about 2021, what we're seeing. Now we have listed enterprise business. We're going to talk about enterprise business, K through 12 and the likes. And we'll stop sharing and I'll go back to this at the end, just so you can see us. But really what we want to talk about today is what we're seeing in the industry from a manufacturer's perspective, what we're hearing in the industry today, what we want to make sure you guys are aware of going into 2021 so we can help you be prepared. But I want to also sit there and say that we're telling you this, but we also want to preference this by saying, this is what we're hearing, right? And we're hearing also a lot of conflicting information as well. Some people are seeing some things, some people are saying other things. So we're going to give you the best information that we have. So hopefully you'll have a better understanding of what's going on, right? So let me start a little bit by what we have seen so far, right? So if I take a look at 2020, we saw something happen in our business for Aver video conferencing that we'd never seen before. When COVID hit, when the shutdown started to happen state by state, and things started getting rolled down, and schools started to shut down, obviously we saw enterprise business sales drop off the map. They fell completely because a lot of people started to work from home. We did see the work from home applications take off dramatically. I think a lot of people will tell you that were waiting 6 to 12 weeks to get a simple webcam that they used to be able to go buy at Costco or Best Buy. You just couldn't find them anymore because everybody was moving to more of a work from home application. In Q3, we saw a huge uptick in sales from the K through 12 and universities, right? Higher education. And that was mainly around the schools going, we need to be able to provide distance learning to our kids. We need to sit there and be able to have our schools open up come the new year. We need to be able to still be able to teach. I have 3 of my kids at home that aren't at school today, luckily, but 3 of my kids that do online schooling that all day out long, they're on video calls with their teachers. So that is really taking place and taking shape. And we've seen a lot of those work from home companies. Look at Zoom stock, it's gone through the roof. Microsoft, gone through the roof. A lot of those have really taken off because of the work from home need and the distance learning need that's out there. So Q3, we saw this huge spike in sales take place. Started to dwindle down a little bit in October. We started to see schools opening back up. We started to see that they were trying to get back to normal. But I'll say this, we have started to see an uptick in requests again for K through 12s and universities. A lot that had shut down or a lot that had opened up to try and get kids in are now going back to shutdown mode. And a lot of what we're hearing is COVID's going to continue to progress probably through the wintertime and continue to grow. So that's a little bit of a concern. So my recommendation for my resellers out there, right? What I would tell you today, if you're looking out there today and going, hey, who do I call in the marketplace today? Reach back out to the schools, reach out back out to the universities. They still are not fully equipped to handle with online distance learning. And I say that because I've had multiple schools out there where they bought a large amount for phase one, also come back a month or two later and go, we need to do a phase two. And now we're hearing about phase three and possibly phase four. So it's going to continue to grow. I really feel that, well, it's dropped some from the peak, that we're at that leveling out mode. And we're going to be leveling out for the next few months. One thing that I have started to see in the last few weeks, though, and this is just us internally, this isn't me talking to people, but we've seen it internally, is we have seen a large uptick in Fortune 1000 companies reaching out to us, asking us about our product, asking us for demos. They are telling us that they are looking to be prepared for early 2021 to relaunch their offices again. And they need to have a more safe and have the ability for more distance learning. So we have seen a large uptick in our team, our requests coming from those types of companies, the large enterprise. And when I say large enterprise, they're talking anywhere from deploying, I think on the small end, maybe 25, 30 systems, all the way to a couple thousand systems. So they are really looking to go, we need to embrace this new video conferencing revolution. And I say that because I've been in video conferencing for going on 16 years now. And I've seen the video revolution take place many times. This is the first time where I've actually seen it take shape. This is the first time where I've seen people come in and go, yes, we're going to be here. We're really going to start moving to this new distance learning platform.
And if I can add to that real quick, Charlie, you hear Charlie talk about the effects in distance learning, about the enterprise. I think the best way to generalize it is everyone is preparing for everything right now. The quick reaction to COVID, the uptick in enabling at-home workers, enabling distance learning scenarios. It was a patch. It was a Band-Aid. People had to get to a point to be able to maintain business continuity as best they could. Now we're moving beyond the reaction and we're moving into the full future planning to be able to accommodate both modalities, no matter what is needed. And that way we can truly address the business continuity requirements of educators, of enterprises, all business types around the globe. And with that preparedness model and the dual modalities that are looking to address, it is not a, what do we have to prepare for or what do we have to video enable? It's everything. We have to video enable everything in order to be able to empower us no matter which way the market goes or which way the economy goes or the COVID goes. So with that, you're starting to, as Charlie mentioned, it's taken shape. It's not just another video revolution. It's truly taken shape where video is now as entrenched as every other standard day-to-day business operation is. And with that preparedness comes all of the conversations that we're having. We have to be prepared. What do we need to do? What's the numbers look like? What's the volume that we need? How can we standardize on certain manufacturers across the breadth of our enterprise, global business, or small business or education institution, however it goes. So it's a broad concept to think about, but just like you would give everyone a business card back in the day, everyone's now going to get their video, instance and what they need to enable that. It's the same concept. Things that are needed just to be able to do business are now being prepared for and given to the employees to do their job.
Definitely. And Wayne, actually, we got a couple of questions. So let me answer a couple of these, right? And now,
Sure.
My goal wasn't to talk about product specifically here today. So that's one of the things that I don't want to get down in the weeds to. But one of the questions is trying to find a unified solution to shift our smart classroom at an affordable rate is really a challenge. That same person also asked particular mic solution for classroom hybrid solution. I will tell you, it can be a challenge. It really can be a challenge today. And I would tell you that every classroom and every school that I've talked to has been different in what they're trying to do, right? I have seen some schools try and go, let's go very economical on this. And when I say that, they go, hey, we're going to take a product like Aver's VC520 Pro. which is a camera speakerphone combo. And we'll take the camera, we're going to mount it up in the ceiling, and then we're going to run the speakerphone to the teacher's table, right? And I'm actually on that exact same system right here. Real simple, real easy to do, and now the teacher will plug a laptop into it. That can be very affordable, very simple, very easy to do. That's been one of our 2 more popular applications and products for the K through 12 market. I will say then there's a complete opposite side of the field. If you look at the universities and higher educations, and I'll even say that some of the private schools that have higher funds, they're going with more of a robust solution where there's a camera in the back, like say our Cam 520 Pro Advanced or Cam 520 Pro. There's a camera in the back, and then they'll pair it with a Yamaha wireless lapel mic or a Clear One microphone, or add ceiling microphones in the room, and then also have, a dedicated PC or Mac in the room that runs the video conferencing call. So any teacher can walk in with their laptop and easily take the calls. So it really depends on what the school's budget is, what they're looking to do, how quickly they're looking to outfit. So I will tell you, the person that asked the question, I'm going to give you our contact information, have you reach out to us. And we can talk about more of your specific solution and what you're doing. One of the other questions that I had was, the question was, to provide work from home for an entire organization, do you recommend the same camera for all users, or do you recommend providing multiple options for an individual choice? Wayne, I want to let you answer that one because you're ahead of product.
Sure. So it's an interesting question because it's going to open up the door to discuss how that market's changed, how work from home has changed. People originally would just grab a webcam, plug it into their laptop, and be able to then have their video calls as they would if they were in the office. However, I think you're starting to see more what we'll call power users enter the work from home space, where they said, this was an initially a good solution for me, but I want to take it to the next level. I want to improve my video. I want to improve my audio tech stack that I have in my home office. And they start to look at other solutions beyond just your standard webcam. So planning for the work from home, depending on the role, but depending on the experience that you have of the individuals working from home, I would say you could get away with an initial, solution to be able to provide everyone at least a camera and be able to leverage a headset potentially. But as those users start to scale up and as they maybe become full-time work from home, they may want to look at expanding their capabilities. And that's where you would want to look at a more robust camera with some potential features that may not exist in a standard webcam. You may want to look at rather than go to a headset, they may want to look at a table audio solution to be able to not have to have a headset on all hours of the day. Fatigue of ear fatigue is a real thing for those of you that have been working from home forever. Charlie using the speaker, I use a headset, but you start to get the choice becomes a real issue. We've seen some companies actually start to allow, rather than reimburse for travel, they reimburse for home equipment needs, and giving the end users the ability to go out and select, what they feel will work best for them versus having it mandated to them. So it's both. I think at an initial level, for someone that's been work from the office forever and now they're transitioning to work from home, in order to enable everyone, I think a standard becomes valuable there, just to be able to get it out, procure it at the scale that you need to procure it at, get it in the hands of the workers. A one model works great approach there. But if they stay at work from home, they need to restock or improve what they're working with. It's not working for them. Then flexibility becomes a very important thing. So the standard kind of gets broken, and you start to see people stray off. So more of a guidance role versus a mandate role is where you're eventually going to get to, just with the choice of home workers.
Yeah, and I think that also rolls into this question that we got. Is it expected hybrid work scenarios will see one set of devices at home and a set at work, or for these to travel back and forth? Also, what does this look like in the educational space? So I'll touch on that, and Wayne, I'd love you to jump in as well.
Yeah, I've actually got some good insight into that I've heard from people. So,
I mean, what I'm seeing a lot of is camera manufacturers across the board, I think when I look at our roadmap, I look at products that are going to be launching that are things that you can take with you, right? You want to make sure that they're easy to travel with. Today, I have products that I carry with me to when I travel. Well, not today, but before COVID, when I traveled, I had products that I'd put in my laptop bag or my backpack, and I'd be able to take with me to be able to have a call at a coffee shop, or at the hotel lobby or in my room, wherever it may be. So I still believe you're going to have personal products that are able to be carried with you. And I think the marketplace is looking towards, and I'll say this, I know Aver is looking towards addressing the true enterprise solution in those types of products, right? How do I get people to have a full, robust solution that is enterprise grade that can be travelable around with? I think those are things that you'll see a lot more of in the near future. I'd also tell you that I think you are going to have a different scenario when you go from the offices. Now, what I'm hearing from a lot of offices, and I've actually talked to a couple of companies about this, is the boardroom that used to have 8 or 12 or 14 or 16 people sitting in it is now cut down by half, by a third, right? So that 8-person conference room is now really only allowed to have 3 people in it, maybe, right? Depending on size. So I think what you're going to be seeing is more of the conference rooms being outfitted with video conferencing so that can be available to people. And that I will tell you, when we're hearing from the Fortune 1000 companies that have been reaching out to us, those are the types of products that they're asking us for quite a bit. They're asking us for more of our robust camera systems that can take care of those larger rooms, but have the ability to zoom in, crop, take pictures, and really focus to where, hey, there might only be 3 people in that 20-foot conference room. We need to make sure we can see them appropriately. So I do think you're going to continue to see a work from home product line as well as a kind of office solution product line as well. Wayne, I'll let you jump in on that if you ever been.
Sure.
Different
I think, I think it depends a lot also on what type of return to work the organizations are going to have. There's a couple different options when you start looking at what does that return to work look like. Some people are coming back to their old desk that they always had. It's their desk and it's going to be there every day. Other organizations are moving towards more of a hoteling approach where you may have a locker at your office and you're on a 2-day-a-week shift or a 3-day-a-week shift in your hybrid working model where I'm working from home 2 or 3 days and I go into the office 2 or 3 days. In those scenarios, you're going to be sharing a desk potentially because they don't want to, the real estate divisions of these large enterprises don't want to have to pay for a desk for everyone if people are going to be coming in and out half the time. So if you have a dedicated desk to return to work, then more than likely you'll have equipment there that's going to stay there. You don't need to bring it back and forth. But if it is going to be hybrid approach, there could be the expectation, and some are going to provide, kits inside their lockers to be able to have when you go to a desk. Some companies will expect, well, we've already paid for the hardware for you, so just carry it with you from home to work, depending on the type of model, being able to make sure that it is mobile and carryable with you in your backpack or your briefcase when you come to and from work. But it depends on where the enterprise is going, right? So if you're going to go to the hoteling approach, more than likely you're going to have to either carry or have 2 sets of equipment in order to have each place where you need it.
Yep. And actually, that'll roll into another one, because I know today we're talking about more enterprise and K through 12 higher education. We got one question. Is there currently a roadmap to meet the needs of education through new products or updates to existing ones? Let me first say yes, there it is. Also, are you seeing an increase in your telehealth customer base? I will tell you, the first set of large opportunities that came to us when COVID hit were in the telehealth care space. And we've seen pockets of those pop up. I think it's a little difficult right now in the healthcare industry because they are struggling just to maintain what's going on in their work environment today and in that telehealth environment. I feel in 2021, telehealth will be one of the larger growing segments for video conferencing in general. It's a matter of they have to get through COVID, right? They have to take care of that. And that's already taxing them financially, as we all know, and resources wise already. So some have been able to go out and purchase, but we're hearing a lot more are going to be looking for that in 2021 as well. So I would say where we see K through 12 and higher education making that investment today, telehealth is definitely going to be a large part of that, and we're looking into that as well. And we have products on our roadmap that'll be coming out that will be more for the telehealth customers as well. So that'll be something that you'll be seeing. Wayne, do you want to add on to any of that? I know, I apologize, folks, we can't go into roadmap today. Just wait, it's right around the corner, don't worry.
Patience, everyone, patience.
It'll be here.
Yes, we have a very exciting 2021 ahead of us, and unfortunately we can't share a lot today, but there will be more to come with some very good use cases for many different verticals out there. So but yes, along with what Charlie said, the use cases for our existing devices are widespread, and we've seen a lot of those use cases become reality where some never even thought of before, but due to the need, everyone is very creative in how they're able to solve for the use cases that they need. But telehealth is definitely one that we're intrigued by, and I've seen a lot of uptick in and a lot of interest in. And as mentioned, there will be some very cool things coming out next year that will help to add to the capability of solving a lot of use cases.
So I'm going to jump in. We got 3 questions that I want to answer, and then we're going to jump into talking about what you're seeing for 2021, Wayne, just kind of go in a little bit more detail, and then we'll get back to answers. But one question, is there an update on changeover to Teams from Skype for Business? I have regular meetings with Teams. Obviously, we're a Teams certified partner. We have several products that are Teams certified. You're going to be hearing more products become Teams certified in the next couple of weeks. It seems it seems it almost takes us longer to get the PR approved than it does for the product to approve at times. So we're really happy about that. But I have not heard anything officially from Microsoft, and they have not shared anything with us on that part. So I don't have any updates for you on Teams taking over Skype for Business completely. Another question, and I apologize, this goes into role mapping, but you'll probably be able to tell from what I say here. Are you guys thinking about developing a competitor or equivalent to the Zoom for home all-in-one devices? Now, I think, and Wayne, you might be able to go a little bit deeper. I think what you're talking is more of an Android-based devices that have been popping up for Zoom and for a lot of other companies out there. I would just say stay tuned. I think it's a great market space. I think it's very interesting. I'm really excited to see it personally. Wayne, did I miss that question, or do you have anything?
No, I think you addressed the question.
Yeah, you can tell by Wayne's evil stare at me that can't say anymore, guys. I'm sorry. Wayne might fly over here and shoot me. So,
no, everything's fine.
No. So the other question is, and Wayne, I'm going to have you ask this one because I do know this goes into 2021. Is there a demand for biometric features in conference rooms to stay safe when returning to the office?
Yes and no. When you start looking at, and when we say biometric, just to be clear, there's been a since the start of COVID, the first thing you started to see were scanning stations, kiosks come out where you can gather temperature, facial recognition, do whatever you need. Now, those solved a very immediate need. However, there's still some ongoing concerns around that, because technically when you start looking at temperature and other items, patient data is something that's very, very key. And depending on how you build as an enterprise, how you build your legal terms, whether be it with employees, guests, anyone entering a physical facility, taking data from a person regarding their health is a very concerning issue. So, we are not moving into, the biometric reading and patient health capture capabilities. When you move into the meeting room specifically, there's going to be things as far as people counting. There will be distance measuring, and those types of more kind of AI components associated with traditional video conferencing units will become more pervasive over time. But it's not something that is, at least from what I've gathered, taking over kind of the high priority at this moment. But it is something that is being viewed and planned for in the future. And explored on its viability? Is it something that's really become necessary, or is it just a knee-jerk reaction to what we're going through immediately? But as things phase forward, it will no longer be a requirement. So, like I
And I
said,
agree.
it's a very yes or no, very gray area. But the capability of capturing any data from a space, I will say, is going to become very popular. What that actual data is will fluctuate with the platforms and software associated with what's running that room.
And I think that, and look, I would say this, and I don't want to go on into a whole other road here, but I think that's been one of the that's been one of the factors that we've all been trying to work on, right? I think look at our cameras today. We can sit there and see how many people in the room. We can get a lot of data from the cameras themselves. It's how does that best get to the end user for their dissemination? Okay, great. I got this conference room that can fit 40 people in it on a regular basis, only 5 to 6. Why? Right? How do we get that information to them? And that's something we've been working with the platforms quite a bit to kind of get that done, right? Where is it simplified? Because yes, today it's available, but is it simple to get? Is it simple to understand? Is it simple to manage? I think that's the part where I think COVID is going to make that change. I think people and end users are demanding that process quicker, demanding that information to be available to them. And you're seeing that start to take place. So I know we're talking about it a lot in internal meetings and in meetings with partners out there as well. So I'm sure you're going to see a lot of that come out in 2021 and a lot of announcements around it. Real quickly, and please keep throwing the questions out there because we'll keep answering them. And originally my goal was to have this from 30 to 45 minutes, but hey, if it goes 2 hours, I'm fine. I'm all up for a long talk today. Really what I want to talk about is Q1 2021. What we're foreseeing, what we're looking out there, and what we're hearing a lot about out there, right? So give you a little bit of insight for what we're hearing. So I'll start, and Wayne, you can jump in and kind of let me know your perspective on it. So right now, what I'm seeing is 2021, you're still going to have some of the K through 12 and higher education continuing to purchase for distance learning. But as we've all heard, Q1 of next year, you're still going to have a majority of companies still doing work from home. They're still going to continue with their work from home practices. I think companies like Microsoft, like Zoom, I've heard multiple other tech industry companies, they're telling their people they don't have to come back to the offices till April, May timeframe. So I think a lot of the world, or a lot of the US is taking charge or taking their direction from some of those tech companies. So I really feel that you're going to see more of that take place Q1. I think Q1 is going to be that, hey, yeah, let's keep the work from home going. Let's stay safe. Let's keep things happening until the vaccine is more readily available for people. Wayne, is that what you're seeing as well, or what are your thoughts about it?
It is, and going back to some of the earlier statements, it's not necessarily the planning is happening for all scenarios right now. It truly is. I think you're going to see, as you mentioned, some are mandating stay at home, some are mandating ending school again potentially if things take a turn in a certain direction. But it's really the planning and the business conversations around this are happening around all aspects. And it's more, how are we going to plan for high flex or hybrid learning environments and what they're talking about there. So what's that strategy? What does that look like? And our plan is locked for here's what that's going to look like for us as a K-12 organization, higher education institution, and plan is locked. And as it scales up, we know exactly the route we're going to take. On the enterprise side, are we going to stay work from home and enable the at-home worker? Are we going to move to a hybrid shift work as we talked about before? Is it going to be a hoteling environment? Is it going to be a personal desk where you have so you can go back and forth as needed? Is it going to be pure phone booths where we just have open shared spaces for ideation and meetings and everything else that is required? And then from there, it's just small personal spaces throughout. There's all these variations on how this is going to occur, but it's not one or the other that's going to happen everywhere. It's going to be a mixture of all of the environment. So, I think that we're going to see the continued expansion of video and enablement of video in all of these space types and all of these places types in order to be able to facilitate whatever's required in whatever, direction this takes. Companies, higher education institutions, healthcare providers are going to be prepared and have their plan to be able to enact it however they see fit depending on how things occur. So, it's and I know that's very broad, and I just I don't want to offer saying it's definitely going to go one way. It's going to go as the region, as the company, as the nation mandates or recommends, and from there you'll see all the variations below. So but the one answer is this. The one answer is video is becoming a standard, right? It is truly how people are communicating today, and that video has to be enabled and baked into the overall worker experience, no matter what that is, or patient experience, or learner experience, or educator experience. Those video is going to be in each of those, and then it's just a matter of how we choose to enact it. And the good news is we're, from an AVER perspective, we are enabling solutions for all of those, all of the above, both now and in the future, as we talked about, coming soon. But for customers, it's the video solution is one thing, the platform solution is a second thing. The and even getting into biometrics, those usually are going to be a third-party component, so that's another thing they need to look at. Physical requirements of space, as Charlie was mentioning, being able to scale from what used to be 30, now maybe 10, 15 max. How do we accommodate that shift, and then look at it across organization? How do we, if we go to a hybrid return to work model, how do we make enough room for everyone? Do we need to change large rooms into 4 medium rooms? Do we need to change into 6 phone booths? Do we need to, those are the conversations that are taking place for 2021. But it's going to continue to be an exciting time. And unfortunately, when I say exciting, it's not, not a positive nature about what's been going on with COVID, but it's a lot of conversation, a lot of discovery that needs to take place in order to meet the needs of the customers. So that's what when I say exciting, that's what I mean by exciting. It's definitely more out of the box thinking than we've seen in probably 10 years, 15 years in the video space.
And I agree. I definitely agree. And the one part that I want to say out of this, right, where I really feel that COVID, because of the way that it came on so quickly, and because of the changes that it's made us to do in our lives on a regular basis, it has advanced the implementation of video conferencing easily by 5 to 10 years, right? I think video conferencing now is at a point where it probably would have been, if COVID didn't happen, about 5 years from now, the amount of people using it would probably be here, right? So it really, really brought it to the forefront much quicker. And I would tell you, I think there's, in the video conferencing space, I don't think there's a way of going back. People have now gotten more used to working from home. People have now gotten more used to being on video conferencing calls. I can tell you, internally at AVER, drove me crazy for years because nobody would ever jump on a video conferencing call. Everybody would still jump on audio. Now there's not a call that takes place inside of AVER that does not happen over video, right? So once you get used to it, once you get accustomed to it, once it starts becoming a part of your daily life, you don't change, you don't go back, because you do know video conferencing makes that communication that much more enriched, that much better, and that much more fluid conversation. I will always say this, and it's kind of really weird. When I first started in a video, I used to have to explain to people why they need to use video, right? You get a lot more reaction from people's nonverbal communication than you ever do from what they say, right? People nodding, shaking their head, no, what are you, crazy? I get more understanding from what people are saying than anything else that they'll tell me, especially on an audio call. You have no idea what people are saying to you. People now understand that, they see that, they utilize it themselves. So for our industry, this tells me we are going to be seeing a large uptick for at least the next 5 years. And you're going to see this industry continue to grow. And when I say this industry continues to grow, it's also going to change the landscape as well. You're going to see more competition in the service provider space. You're going to see more competition in the hardware space, right? This is no longer a, hey, yeah, that's a cool place to be in. This is now oh man, video conferencing is a must-have for every company out there. We need to be a part of it. So you got to understand, there's going to be a lot of landscaping changes. And for us at AVER, we know we've always been at the forefront of that. And our goal is to continue to be at the forefront of that and continue to drive that. So you'll see a lot of that come out 2021. Just kind of give you a little heads up, just be ready. There's gonna be a lot of cool things coming out. So let me see if there's any other questions. Do we have any documentation on classroom different solutions? Yes, we do. I'll message you and give you my contact information, reach out to me and I'll get you information on that. So here's an interesting one, and I don't know how well I can answer this one. I don't know if Wayne can answer this one too well. I apologize, I should shut my phone off. What has been the impact of COVID on the interest in the auto tracking product range? So what I can tell you is auto tracking sales have gone through the roof, and especially in the higher education space, right? So with COVID came a lot of CARES Act funding, and a lot of the universities and higher education said, we need to do video conferencing better. And what better way is there to do video conferencing than to say, hey, I'm going to have a teacher that's presenting or a professor that's presenting. And rather than have them have to worry about having a remote control or controlling the camera, they move left or right or walk this way or that way, have the camera be able to move with them. So it's been extremely popular. We've seen the sales grow dramatically this year, right? Because of that. Is that working in the K-12 space? It once again, two different dynamics, right? One has funding to do it, and they're loving it, and they're enjoying it, and that's continuing to grow there. The other one is very cost restrictive in what they can do and what they can offer, right? So is the application taken off? Yes. Are we investing more in it? Yes. Do I have the roadmap? No, I don't. Have I heard of the roadmap? Yeah, it's amazing, right? Get ready for 2021. But it's once again, I think what we're seeing is rising tides rise all ships. And that's what we're seeing with the auto tracking as well as the USB camera space. So we're going to continue to see that grow in 2021 as well. Wayne, do you want to add anything to that as well? I know it's not our product lines that we manage, but we hear a little bit.
Yeah. But generally speaking, if, as Charlie said, all video solutions have risen dramatically with just based on demand. The auto tracking feature set has become, it's always been a big feature request in the video space. It's just a fine balance of, do I take a look at what's the cost associated with the benefit? And that's really the main question people ask. So people will begin to explore tracking, and if the use case doesn't provide the right fiscal sense for that camera, then they look at auto framing as the another capability to be able to at least track down and view people inside of a space and frame them accordingly so that it has a tighter fit and you can see people better. It's just, it's really like I said, the balance between the two. But yes, it's it's not going anywhere. It's definitely going to continue to be an innovation point that we have. But for the customer, it's always about finding the right fit for the right price and the right solution.
So I know we talked about Q1. Q1 pretty much is Q1 and Q2, right? I think that's what we're looking at. I really feel that second half of the year for us, just to kind of, wrap up a little bit and get closer to the end. I really look at second half of 2021 as being when we're going to see enterprise open up, go back to business as usual. But like Wayne was talking about, when we start getting to that part, every company's going to do it a little bit differently. Every company is going to have their own flavor and decision on how they're going to make video conferencing work from them. The part for us that we know about is that video conferencing is going to be a part of it. It's not a question anymore of if. It's yes, it is. How are we going to implement it? What platform are we going to use, right? What service providers are we going to use? How are we going to divvy it up? I still feel work from home is going to continue to grow. And Wayne, I know you believe this as well. I think once again, when I say this, I don't say it lightly. When there's a shift in the overall landscape, it doesn't always go back. And I think work from home has really caught on. I really do. And I think work from home is going to be with us and is a big part of the future for us as well.
It's a net add into our everyday conversation.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I've been doing work from home for 12 years. So guys, get used to it, right? I don't know if you guys might have heard, my wife was yelling at my dog 5 minutes ago. That gets picked up on the microphone every now and then, right? So that's a part of the work from home experience. And the great part, what I like about work from home is it makes me seem more human. People get to hear what goes on in my life. People understand that I got a family that will run in the door every now and then, right? That's the great part about work from home. And I think we're seeing more people embrace it. We're seeing more companies accept it, right? I've seen so many reports about how companies are seeing that people have been more productive in a work from home environment than they were in the office. No more water cooler talk. Are you kidding me? Like, so I think it's something you're going to continue to see. And I think you're going to see our entire industry build, design, and create for that as well. Well, you will also continue to see a growth in the traditional video conferencing rooms. They just won't be able to occupy the same amount of people in those rooms anymore, right? So does that mean that, law firms or the marketing agencies aren't going to have their 25 or 30-foot marble table that they're going to walk everybody into? They'll probably still have it, but they might only have 5 or 10 people in that room, right? It might only be a show, right? You're going to see a lot more of those small, medium conference rooms start to take over and take effect.
I'll also add, Charlie, we don't know what we don't know. Right. And I think that's the second half of next year is there's going to be new topics that we're discussing second half of next year that we haven't thought of yet. And I also feel that the innovation that's taken place from what we've gone through this year will start to show itself second half of next year also. So I think you're going to start to see new feature sets, new capabilities, new use cases, new ideas, new ways of solving problems come into the market that will continue to be a kind of a wholesale change for us in the industry. So there's a lot to look forward to. It is going to be change, and adapting to change is kind of what we have to go through all the time. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, but I think that there's definitely going to be a lot of that coming second half of next year. But we don't know what we don't know, and we also have yet to see the innovation that's taken place to solve the problems that this year's introduced. So it's going to be fun.
It is. So I'm going to end it with 2 things, right? I'm going to have one last question for Wayne, because I want to throw one question out, but before I do that, I always forget. Please remember, we do have a drawing after this takes place. That drawing is for gift cards, and we will notify those people that won via email and get those sent out to you. But one question popped up, Wayne, that I just got to shoot your way, because you know me, I love doing this stuff. Are you guys going to start offering lighting suggestions for some of the more standard VC setups to help with adoption success? Your video always looks great. And of course, not always the case for all work from home solutions. Go ahead, Wayne, let me throw that one over
to you. Stay tuned. I'll just say, leave it at that. There's
I love,
as I mentioned, the demands placed on workers with everything that's gone through this year are creating opportunities for innovation and unique solutions. So we're excited about what we have to offer in 2021, and I highly recommend everybody to pay close attention and stay on the lookout. If you're not on, I'll make Amy happy here. If you're not on our social media between LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and others, highly recommend that you follow us there to be able to stay track on all of the PR we have coming out associated with not only products, but also on our relationships in the platform side of the world with Zoom, Microsoft, and others, and be able to see what, there's going to be a lot of news coming out. So please go there, follow us, and make sure you can stay up to date when we make those announcements.
And my hopes, and I might get myself in trouble for this, my hopes is that we can come in here in January, and our January webinar will be about some new products that we're going to be announcing. So that's kind of the goal. So stay tuned, watch your emails. We'll definitely have more of these. I think we have one next month. Amy, what's the one for next month? Do we know? Do we have it set up or queued up already? I'm trying to get you.
Yes, we're going to be talking about Microsoft certified products. So we're going to have some new products coming out that are going to be Microsoft certified.
Can I tell you that I am so happy that we've had, for 2 seconds here, the Microsoft Teams partnership that we have and the way that we go through their certification process has been amazing. They've worked us with it extremely well. I can't believe we've moved so many products. You know of 2 folks. Be prepared. You're going to hear about a couple more in the next month or 2, and I'm sure by next month when we actually have our webinar, we'll be able to talk about all the products that we have and go through them with you. So with that, I want to wish everybody a happy and safe Veterans Day. Thank you to all the servicemen and women out there, those that are serving and those that have served in the past, and for those that are planning to serve in the future, thank you very much for your service and your support of our country. We thank you with all of our heart. With that, I will shut down. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks.